if you thought about it, how would they even make look? The gameplay style of that game is really cool,
It
right?
is. It's pretty good too.
And it's unique. Yeah, it's
Double
it's
random.
Good. But look, how can they make that game work
Peach
in like
Daisy Meta Knight.
how can they make that work in a scenario where like you don't need like 2 setups for it?
Yeah.
How do they make that work?
Yeah.
I don't think they can. So they just screwed themselves a little bit there. I mean, at least Smash's got something going on. They've had a good concept for the past like 20-something years. They got a good idea on it. Okay, so it's
That is something I was we were talking about before Melee, where I was like, actually, I don't really know how to play this game. I've only played it a couple times, and someone was like, it's still Smash. I'm like, that's pretty true.
yeah. You'll sort of get it.
Yeah.
Okay, at least Jinx was a little lucky to be getting Daisy here.
Yeah, off of randoms.
Yeah, but
I don't know how Fusky feels about his Meta Knight.
I don't know. It's got to be. I can't imagine he's too confident in it.
I saw something
I'll
a
say
moment
that.
ago, pretty clean parry, and I know Anarch Zero, GCU's resident Meta Knight, says that he doesn't play Meta Knight's black skin because even though he likes it, the parry animation is different because his eyes are always red
His
now.
eyes are red.
His
yeah.
eyes are always red, so he's like, it's not as cool.
That's always so weird. Like, why does his eyes get red when he
he's
parries
evil.
something?
I just like
He's evil.
he's evil. I just like little touches like that in that game, like Ryu or definitely Ken. When they parry, it does the like third strike sound effect.
Yeah,
and it's like
yeah.
that's so cool. It's one of my favorite things in this game. Just the little bits of attention to detail, which is funny thing. Which is another funny thing because then when there's not attention to detail, it just makes it more weird. Like, why is Ganon's moveset not updated? Why is DK's moveset not updated? Why does Bowser sound like that?
It's because the only new characters in this game are the actually new ones.
That's
It's not like there's no like new.
Sakurai really
feelings
tried
for
to
older
have
characters,
Sakurai
you know?
really tried to have his cake and eat it too by taking. Yeah, he really tried to have his cake and eat it too by tricking us into thinking that Link, Ganon, and Mario got updated. Where it's like Mario, he's got Cappy and a taunt, bro. It's so different. It's like no, he's still using Flood, bro. In my year of 2022,
It's the same character in Smash 4.
Yeah, I was like,
Same character.
it's like Link does have a new bomb and that does change his gameplay dramatically, but it's like you can't fool me with a Breath of the Wild skin.
Look, I've had this discussion with people like pretty much like every time I'm at an AZ event, which is like, look, the DLC are annoying. Fighters Pass 2, haha, funny, but also at least they're doing something more creative with them than any of
Their
the old characters.
Yeah. That's the thing that's the thing though, is I saw a pretty neat video of someone who wasn't even like pro banning C4 Kazuya, who was saying that like there is a definite problem that roots from the fact that these characters are well designed to replicate what their game's like aspects are about. It's like they lean into it so hard with Bayo too. Yeah, it's like they lean so hard into the fact that that is what Bayonetta plays like. But in Bayonetta you're not playing against another human being, you know, where it's like that combo. How does it make another human being feel as opposed to your NPC demon?
Yeah, and I mean, like,
What do you do
doesn't,
against that?
It doesn't have to be a problem either that, like,
Yeah.
you know, Bayonetta could play like that. But
Yeah.
the issue is, okay, they can play like this. The other characters just gotta, like, match the sort of creativity and implementation of their
Yeah.
original source material as possible. They just gotta replicate
And,
that,
yeah,
and it's not possible.
It
They
just matches what
they
I was
just don't do
saying,
that.
where it's like attention to detail is really cool, but then there are points where it's not there, and you're like, why is this the way this game is designed?
Yeah. And like, look, we're not game devs. I feel for people
Oh,
who
yeah.
like are in this spot and they gotta come up with something unique. But in these situations, I really think that
That's why I always clarify
There-
that it's like I couldn't do this better.
yeah, there has to be something like more creative with the setup of these characters to be done in a more special way. And like, even if you're like, well, I like how these characters turned out regardless.
Yeah.
You could be like, okay, then maybe it's like an older rendition of a similar character that plays exactly like them, right?
Yeah.
It's the whole like, I'm going to pull out like a Tekken example here. It's Jin from like Tekken 3 became what Double Gen is today, and Jin in Tekken 4 and onward is like a new Jin, you know?
Yeah.
It's just what the old style of play is like compared to the new. They could incorporate that.
Yeah.
They could have done that with the Echo Fighters, right?
I was okay. Thank you. I was just about to bring up another weird way. This is just plays into a conversation I have with my friends a lot, where it's like Nintendo is the best and the worst company in terms of these weird decisions. Where it's like a lot of this game has really cool attention to detail, and some of it doesn't. And then Echo Fighters are a perfect example. What is the deal with Echo Fighters? They made them so that people wouldn't complain about clones anymore, and so that they could roll out new characters very easily. Why is there no Echo pass? Because the most easy Echo Fighters to make are just skin swaps like Daisy, and that is very little amount of dev cost to just print money by giving us characters like Akuma or some shit like that everyone would pop off for. Funky Kong, I don't know. It literally the characters literally make themselves and print money, and I know you still have to balance them, but they are much easier to balance than whatever the hell they did with Kazuya or Sora or Sephiroth or Steve or anyone else they added. So they could have done their own contained thing of 5 Echo Fighters, and then you throw them out. Because instead they just invent this new concept and then really only apply it to Dark Samus, Daisy, and Chrom.
Yeah.
The coolest Echo Fighter added was Richter, in my opinion, and that was and he's one of the least different ones. It was just cool because we were like, oh, you can add 2 third-party ones in the same trailer?
Yeah. It's an interesting case of the DLC. Oh man, the downer.
My
the
guy's
down
getting
action.
cooked.
As we're talking about this, getting absolutely sauced right now by these kicks. So the big thing I think is that, look, again, the DLC aren't super healthy, but imagine if the entire game was composed of characters on that level.
Exactly.
Look, it wouldn't be as bad. Maybe it would be as bad, but at least be
it would be rivals.
all these
bro.
characters are stupid, right?
Yeah.
It's fine, right?
That's why I was saying buffs over nerfs. It's make the bad characters better before you make the good characters worse.
Yeah.
Because I think it's better when balance trends towards everyone's characters feeling fun to play as and good, having good control over their character.
Yeah. Look, everyone said after Metroid Dread came out, they're like, why doesn't Samus play like this in Smash? Just give me a Dread move set for Samus, and it'll feel so cool.
I feel like that's what everyone hopes from the next Smash game, because it's obviously after Ultimate, everyone's like, where do you go from here? Oh my God, he is playing Steve. Everyone's like, where do you go from here? Because you added just short of 100 characters, honestly, about 90, 89 to be exact. So it's where do you go from here? Because you're not getting them all back. You can get a lot of these back, in my opinion, but there's some where you're just definitely not.
The thing I do hope is that if they make something, oh my goodness. The thing is that if they make something new with it, I hope that if people assume that it's going to get fully reset and then it's going to be just a small cast again, make all of them new again.
That's what I was saying. I was I don't think they're going to do a full reset, but I do think the smartest way to develop it would to start as a reset and just build the characters from the ground up. That's what I was saying. I think everyone's hoping is they remake those old characters, because Ganon deserves to be a good character and also play similarly to how he should.
Yeah.
Like I said, you can't fool me into thinking he's a completely new character just because he has swords now.
Look,
and his properties are slightly better.
Everyone has been playing Ganon. There's been Brawl vets who have been playing Ganondorf.
Yeah.
They play Ganon because they like Ganon and he's super cool. They're not playing it because oh man, he does a punch.
Yeah,
that's cool.
He does. Warlock punch. I remember that from my favorite Zelda game, The Wand of Gamelon.
Yeah. Man, okay. It was a long time for that, but I mean, it was Jinx and Fusky going random the entire time, and they decided to pick their pockets, which is Steve and Aegis.
I was almost gonna be oh yeah, let's talk back about the site. I'm they're still going random. This is time for a tangent.
Yeah.
This is when color commentary slots in.
But these are their pockets. Just to at least mention that.
They are performing better than the last couple games, but I mean, who could blame them?
It's better than picky random.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be better.
Nintendo truly is just the best and worst company.
Oh man, no. Side beers right to that.
Like, final note, like, just think about the Switch's launch. It's like its very earliest games. You have some of like the most genre series-defining games of all time, like Breath of the Wild, and then you have like 1-2 Switch. What is that?
I was
What is
thinking
that?
I was thinking exactly 1-2 Switch. Actually, I was thinking like,
Yeah,
man, that game
you'll
existed.
You'll
for a
have
second.
Mario Odyssey, like one of the best like iterations of the series and of its genre as well of like collectathons, and then think of another newer version of its series, Nintendo Switch Sports. What is happening? I don't even know. Ultimate, another example of like, oh yeah, really good example of, yeah, I think it's one of the best of its series. I don't know. I feel like that's a popular opinion.
Oh,
They'll be
man.
put it- they'll be put-
And then you put out Pokemon Sword and
Shield.
Shield.
Yeah, it was like Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. I don't know. I like those games, but I would hesitate to call them popular.
Yeah. Okay. Last stock scenario here. Aegis versus Ness. Okay, this matchup sucks.
Yeah.
This matchup is terrible for Ness. It's,
I was gonna
it's
say
really
for who?
bad. But I mean, Fussy's just gotta
That was
like,
a
not play
overextended.
dumb.
That was a very unfortunate extension. What? He didn't switch either. What is happening?
He was full. He was full pyro.
What
mode.
did I witness before my